Oh, well, I think, Chris, we have to give people time to sort of get in here because we're a little bit earlier than we said we were, right? So
It is
uh,
off the cuff.
it is off the cuff. Don't you love it when it's off the cuff and you can do just exactly what you please, how how you please, when you please, and yeah. And of course, it is Valentine's Day today, February the 14th. 9 years ago this week, uh, we were, or would it be last week? We were wondering would Reese be born on the, well, actually, I knew, but my daughter, Reese's father, all the people we knew, everybody. I think there's something nice about being born on the 14th of February, isn't there? Because you truly do have a love child. But of course, I knew it wouldn't be the 14th. And it's like Christmas when kids are born at Christmas time, on Christmas Day. Uh, I always think they miss out a little bit. So if I had a child born on Christmas Day, I'd make sure that we had Christmas and we had a birthday as well. And separate presents for each day. I don't know how people go on about that. Anyway, uh, okay. So, good evening. I almost said good morning. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Uh, I don't know if we have anybody on right now, but before we begin, first of all, I'd like to say hello to my spirit guide Gradle, who is, as always, standing to my right side. And Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Rosemary. We're having people beginning to log on, even from New Zealand. So I know we were saying to ourselves, well, we might miss our friends from England, but we have the other half of the world that are going to join
I
us.
know so we do try to vary it. We try to sort of, sort of give it, you know, give everybody a chance. It is 9 o'clock, not quite. It's probably a quarter to nine, something like that, in the evening on Monday. It is Valentine's Day in New Zealand. I think you're already into the 15th, aren't you? I think we missed you for Valentine's Day, but it is red for love, as my grandson would tell me all the time. He loves red for love. And so I think Chris and I are both wearing red for Valentine's, especially for Valentine's Day. So here we are in off the cuff. We're going to give people time to log in because we did say 9 o'clock and we are a little early, but we were here, we were ready. So, here we are. So, Chris, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's the start of a new week. It's things to look forward to. Um, I was just saying to you before we went on, my little kitty decided to start nibbling on the red carnation that was given to me today. I hope it's still left when we're done with the show.
Yeah, well, uh, maybe or maybe not. I saw I don't know if anybody else saw that fantastic photo on your Facebook, Chris, with the cat. Was he actually sitting on your head or was he sitting on your shoulder or what was that? It looked as if he was sitting on your head. It was a very funny picture of the puss.
I don't know. I posted a few on my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Was it when he was outside when he's walking
No,
on the ice?
it was
No.
no, it was sitting on you somehow. It was sort of sitting on your head. It looked like, or it could have been your shoulder, but anyway, it was a very cute picture of Moonlight Graham, and he has grown, right? I mean, he's getting to be quite a big boy. He's beautiful creature. So, and I don't care for cats that much, but he is lovely. I'm going to get shot down now, aren't I? I just said I don't care for cats. I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. And I'm not really a dog person because I don't like all dogs. I only like my own. I only like my own dogs. Anyway, let's get off of that subject. So, how many people do we have people logging in? Do we have any questions yet or comments or anything?
We do, Rosemary, and you might just want to say to people what off the cuff is about.
Well, it's not about anything. That's the point of it. You know, there is uh, off the phrase "off the cuff." I think originated years and years and years and years ago, when you know, you'd have an event and you might have a speaker, or you'd have the president of the United States. Not that I know that he ever did this, or whoever that president was at the time. Or you'd have you know, an important person, and it sort of really applied to men more than to women. I suppose years and years ago it was mostly men who did the speeches anyway. And you know, the men would always have their shirts and then the cuffs of the shirt showing just slightly below their suit jacket. And so what they would do very often is make little notes on the cuffs of their shirts, so that it would, when they were doing their speeches, they could surreptitiously, you know, sort of adjust the cuff or something, and they would, you know, see the notes that they'd made, and remind themselves of what it was that they wanted to talk about. So that's how the phrase came about, off the cuff. But basically, what off the cuff means is anything goes. It's like spontaneous. Hey, you know, we're going to just do this. We're going to do this off the cuff. No real agenda, no nothing. We're going to just play around. We're going to invite people to come and join us. And, you know, you can talk about anything you like, bring up anything you like. Whether Chris and I choose to participate in the things that you want to talk about is a whole other thing. But it's basically it's an anything goes kind of a show, and it's really not planned. So you know, it's sort of like the notes on the man's shirt sleeve, on the cuff of the man's shirt. You know, he might have made a little note. Can you imagine, you make little notes and then you look at it and you can't remember why you made that note, and then you've got this puzzled expression and you're looking at the cuff and you're looking at the people you're supposed to be talking to. That must have been quite funny. But we're just doing off the cuff, which means, hey, anything goes. So no reason whatsoever, except that it is Valentine's Day, and we thought, right, Chris, that we should check in with you all, because we know that a lot of you have loved ones. We know a lot of you have received Valentine's cards today, and flowers and chocolates and all that stuff. And I don't know if you received, I know you received a red carnation, Chris, but I don't know what else you received. If you received anything else, I didn't get anything. No flowers, no chocolates. Are you feeling sad for me now? I know that my daughter and my grandson have sent me Valentine's cards, but don't think they've arrived quite yet. Probably come tomorrow, but that's fine. So we decided that we'd sort of just play around with Valentine's Day, and I am wearing red for love. And we all know that this month is the month of love, and we're going to be addressing love, all the different ways that we can love, all the different kinds of love that there are. So we thought, as it's the month of love and that is our theme for the month, I mean, we would be remiss, wouldn't we? Do you like that word, Chris? We would be remiss if we did not do something on Valentine's Day. Right.
You are a wordy, so that's perfect from you. Well, Lavender's on and is saying, I just finished The Eagle and the Rose and I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. You know that this year, the last May, so we're still into the year. We've got 2 months, a little bit over 2 months to go for the end of it's 25 years since that book was published. And Lavender, what a lovely name, Lavender. I don't think I've ever heard that name before. I've heard the name Lavinia, which is lovely. Never heard Lavender. Love it, love it, love it. So we're really glad, Lavender, that you could join us. Can you think what is if you've read The Eagle and the Rose and it's still fresh in your mind, what was the best bit? You probably have loads of best bits, but off the top of your head, off the cuff, what would be the best bit for you? Maybe you'd like to tell us. Okay, keep going, Chris. I think lavender's also new. I don't think we've had lavender before, have we?
Not that I can recall, at least not for
And,
quite some time, if so.
and I don't know, Lavender, if you're a he or a she or what are you? Who are you? Where are you from? Tell us. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Fiona's on from New Zealand saying hello.
Hi, Fiona. How are you?
Wendy's on, and she had mentioned that she'd gone out to dinner. Let me scroll back down to where I saw that. Had Thai chicken fried rice and chocolate mud cake for dinner. So tasty.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I love Thai food. It's probably one of my, of course, wait a minute. I love Italian food. Really love Greek food. I could go on and on, right? See, I love my food, which is a combination of all sorts of different cuisines, but uh, Thai food, they use a lot of lemongrass, and it has that you either love it or you hate it. For me, it's a really exquisite flavor to it, and using sort of, not dried or anything like that, but using, if you can get the fresh stalks of lemongrass. And what I do when I see them, I buy them and then I freeze them because they freeze brilliantly. And then you can use them to make your curries or to add into your rice or whatever. But I love the flavor of lemongrass. So you're making me very envious, Wendy, when you say you've been out for Thai food. Chris.
So, being Valentine's Day, does anything different happen in the spirit world from their perspective on Valentine's Day? Do they see our energy as bigger, better, different than any other day?
It depends on the person. I've got my daddy here, just quite a surprise, blowing me kisses, and then those kisses are heart shaped, I might say.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I've got my Valentine. Oh, and we've got Mike here. We've got a whole slew of people coming in from the spirit world, Chris. Mike is blowing you kisses for Valentine's Day and wishing you a great Valentine's Day. So lots of, then my brother's here as well. Let's keep going.
Let's see who else decides to show up.
Yeah, never know. You never
so
know.
Fiona's asking, is my dad waiting for my mom?
I don't, Fiona, I don't see your dad, but I'm talking to Grey Eagle, and I am told to tell you without a doubt, yes. So they will be at some point in the future definitely reunited. How nice is that? I love that. Don't you love that, Chris?
Especially if they've waited a long time to see each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when it's your time, because you can't go for quite a long time yet, because I need you, so you can't just from me. But we absolutely know that Mike's going to be waiting for you. I mean, and I hear so often sometimes from spouses, sometimes from siblings, sometimes from parents or good friends or what have you. And I hear this phrase so often: mine will be the hand that reaches out to bring you to us. And I love that phrase. So, yes, without a doubt. Okay, keep going, Chris.
Annika says, I received 2 of your books in the mail today.
Oh,
Angels in Training and A Walk in the Clouds.
Oh, nice. Lovely. Can you tell me what you think of them? Because I love both of those. And are you going to be doing the Angels in Training? Are you actually going to be doing those exercises? You could join in with Chris and Karen, couldn't you? You could.
Well, there's a few of us. It's more than Chris and Karen, I'm noticing in their chat room.
No, I was just going to say, Chris, you could form a group of angels in training. Wouldn't that be great? And you could sort of converse with each other, tell each other how you're getting on. Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely. The more angels there are out there, the better the world is.
Don't we know it? Okay.
All right. Aislinn saying, praying for the Ukrainian people Does Gray Eagle have anything he can share with us about this situation?
No, uh, definitely not tonight. Well, okay. You'll hate this answer. You will just absolutely hate this answer, but you couldn't get a truer answer. I was going to say no, he doesn't have anything to say about it, except what is meant to be will be. Oh, don't you hate that? I hate that because it's not really an answer at all, is it? But anyway, that's the way it is. Keep going, Chris.
All right. Fiona says, I would love a message from you and I love you.
Who says that?
Fiona.
Fiona, oh, Fiona, you are so sweet. Well, keep trying because we're here often. We're here on Thursday mornings. Of course, that's our time. We're here Thursday mornings, and we're here on Saturday mornings for story time. And you can go to the Facebook. Go to my Facebook, Fiona, and check out and see what it is that we're up to. And Lavender, I love that name. And Lavender, if you're still with us, check us out. RosemaryAltea.com. Keep going, Chris.
Lorraine says hello from North Carolina, originally from New York, and happy Valentine's Day. You look great in red.
Oh, thanks, darling. Thank you. And the same to you. The same to all of you. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you.
Chris mentioned that they got not here when you were talking about candies and flowers and cards.
They got what?
NAUGHT, not.
Okay.
Am I pronouncing that wrong?
No. I'm just laughing at your accent. That's all. I'm being mean to you. I'm just not. They got
not here.
Nothing. Nil. Zilch.
All right. Cheryl says she got a card.
Oh, nice.
Annika says, I didn't receive anything for Valentine's Day either, but I bought myself a big bunch of pink flowers on Friday.
Well, you'll find if you're reading Angels in Training that it's very important for us to give to ourselves. And why wouldn't you buy flowers for yourself? Absolutely, that's what you should do. I always I like orchids, and I especially like the large, the really beautiful large white orchids. And often for my birthday, my daughter buys them for me. And every now and again, if there's one particular orchid place in Sarasota that I go to, and they have the most beautiful orchids, and they just keep coming back and coming back. And they are a little bit expensive initially, but if you treat them nicely. What I do with mine is I completely neglect them and they just keep coming back. That's what I mean when I said treat them nicely. If you do too much work on them, it doesn't work. But it's amazing, sort of the neglect and not over watering and not over pampering, and they just keep just coming every year. And I think it's really important that we give to ourselves. I think it's a very important thing for us to do.
All right, our friend Michael's on saying hello. Great to see you.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I recently took a trip to Honolulu, Hawaii, and I had a layover in Los Angeles and about. 3 of my cousins whom I'd never met before were nice enough to pick me up from the airport. We went to lunch and had champagne. We kicked off a brand new, beautiful familial relationship.
Oh, I love that. I think that's a fantastic thing to do. Great. Good for you. Really, really good for you. It's nice when you can, I think, Chris, was it you that you met a brother? I came with you to meet.
Yes.
Never met.
You drove me there to meet him. Yes.
I mean, that was great, and that has started a wonderful relationship, not just with you, but with some of the others in your family as well, right?
Yes, long lost. Well, we knew my dad had 2 children before he married my mom, and we never got to meet them. And then it was years and years and years, like 50 plus years.
Well, it's only fairly recently, right? Because It's since I've been in Florida.
Right. That something happened within the family and they had a chance to like look up obituaries online to see the names of all of his siblings. And then he sent off a letter to my brother who shared it with us. And now we're all communicating with each other, he and my other sister.
So it's like two separate families kept separate for all those years, but now, but really two parts of the same family, and now all coming together, which is really nice.
Yeah, especially when you can see things in their faces that remind you of our dad. You know, maybe it might be a smile or the way the eyes are, or a certain word, you
Well,
know.
I know when I went with you to meet your brother, um, who you'd never met before, and he and his wife came, and we all, the four of us, had lunch together. And it was fascinating for me because I sort of was not a part of this, and so I could sort of sit back and watch this thing unfolding. And it was very interesting to me that a lot of your brother's features, his expressions, the way that he would use his hands, it was really just, you could absolutely, excuse me, could absolutely see the resemblance was so clear, so amazing. So that
Yeah.
was fascinating for me too.
The bigger the family, the better, I always say. All right.
Well,
So,
I don't know. I'm, you know, a little, when people say to me, just think of me as family, I think, no, I don't think, I would rather not, because my experience of family has not been as great as your experience of family, Chris.
right, right. Well, Rhonda's on saying, I'm so glad to see you tonight. I was actually hoping to talk to you tonight. I have been going back and forth trying to decide if I should cut a couple of days a month off of my job. I listed the positives and the negatives, and of course, the positive outweigh the negative. In fact, the only negative is giving up some income, but I feel guilty at 61, so close to retirement. Does Gray Eagle see this in my future or have any advice?
It's your choice, first of all. And the first thing when you Chris was reading your thing out there, with both of us, both Gregor and I, at the same time, were sort of both frowning at the "I feel guilty" thing. What's that about? So there is absolutely nothing for you to feel guilty about. Do what you want. Life is short. So if you want to take those couple of days off a week, I'm sure you'll manage financially. And if you want to take those couple of days off a week to enjoy your life, life is short. Make the most of it. So that's from the both of us to you, Rhonda. So there you go. Keep going, Chris.
Lorraine says, I sent away from a bookstore for 3 of your books, The Eagle in the Rose, Soul Signs, A Matter of Life and Death. I read these decades ago, so I'm looking forward to reading them again. And I'll
Right.
send away for Angels in Training next.
Oh, wow. Well, come on, give us your favorite bits and pieces of it. We're dying to hear. I always love to hear what it is that people like the most or the best, and it's often hard to choose, isn't it? Because it's all great. It's a really fascinating subject. But still, we'd love to know, right, Chris? Wouldn't we like to know what people get out of
Absolutely.
these books and what they find, how they help you? We'd love to know that. Chris, keep
Not
going.
only that, when people share their success stories or their frustrations or their questions, there's always somebody else in the chat room who's going to learn from that, the answer to that question.
That's so true. I mean, you think that somebody asks a question or makes a comment and we comment back or we answer. But you can guarantee that for that one person who asked that question, there are several others who are desperately wanting to know the answer to that same question. So, it's the same whether you're in a chat room, whether you're in an audience of people, you can guarantee that, you know, the message might seem to be for one person, but it's for so many. So, yeah.
All right. Annika responded to your question about now that she has the book Angels in Training, is she going to do the training? And she said, I didn't get the book for nothing.
Well, good. Oh, please let us know how you do.
All right. Cheryl.
Connecting with Chris and Karen, because, you're
Well,
all
we'll
in
just
this.
start a thread online in one of the Facebook groups and
I
anybody
think,
can add to it.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Whatever that is you just said is a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheryl says, my parents divorced and my mom remarried before she passed away. Who would she be with on the other side?
Whoever she chooses to be with, and whoever they choose, it's a joint, it's a joint thing. It's a, you don't know what goes on in people's lives. You don't know how people feel about each other. You don't know how, they always say your first love is what is it? The most life changing, or the one that you remember the most. But I think it's different for every single person. So it's who they would choose. And talking about first loves, as it's Valentine's Day, I think it's only fair to remember for me to just mention my.
All right, so Rosemary's just gotten a call in, which is going to knock her off here in a second. She'll have to log off and log back on. So we'll give her a second to do what she needs to do. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hope you've either found an animal or a person to snuggle up to, or a good book or a movie. And we're looking forward to a few more minutes here tonight to spend with you. We're really happy to have questions in the chat room. Anything you want. If you're saying, I would like a message, you have to be specific on your question, and it can't be anything too big or too deep because this is a show, of course. So Rosemary's logging back on.
There we
And
go.
let's get her to go full screen here. There we go.
Sorry about
All
that.
right.
My daughter.
That's okay.
Again, as you would know, because every time. Yes. Sorry about that, everybody. But as I was going to say, my first love uh, is John Stuart Reid. He was lovely. I'm sure he's still lovely. And I got the opportunity to talk to one of his sons years and years later. He was married to somebody else. I think I think they had a lovely relationship, he and his wife. And but your first love is that special one, and there are always those special memories. And especially when you're young and in love, I don't think there's anything quite like the first love of your life. But anyway, uh, it's Valentine's Day, so I'm reminiscing. So, Chris, what did I miss? Did I miss anything at all?
No, I did my due diligence in keeping people entertained and informed while you logged out and logged back in.
Good, great.
All right, well, we have Sunny on. I'm not
Hi.
sure you're going to be able to answer Sunny because of our time limits, but this is what Sunny's asking. My stepson's mom went missing 6.5 years ago. I was wondering if you could hit on that.
Well, I don't, Sunny darling, I don't hit on anything. And we don't have time on this show to do that. I would say that you're looking, if you really want to know this stuff, and I've done this, believe it or not, I've done this so many times for people. But I think, you should be considering, or maybe your son-in-law, was it? No, stepson, might want to consider having a consultation with somebody. If you know of a good medium in your area, that would be my advice. That would be the way to go. But do be very cautious about who you speak to. I was talking to somebody a day or so ago who had she and her family had been totally fooled by someone claiming to be a medium and claiming to have all sorts of powers and claiming to have all these entities and so on and so forth. And it was awful. So I'm always saying to people, do please be cautious, but I think that would be the best way for you to go. Okay, keep going, Chris.
All right. Wendy's saying, I want to thank Rosemary for your wisdom. After your training, my mission in life now is to be the kindest person I can be every day and shine light onto darkness wherever I find it. Love is the answer to all questions.
Oh, Wendy, thank you. I love that, and I love that that's how you feel. And I know that it's really hard, isn't it, to do that every day, you know, to be kind and nice, because sometimes you don't necessarily always want to be. But I think if we strive to do it, we do get such a you know, a great feeling from it. We grow spiritually, we grow in within our own selves, and I think that as hard as it is to try to be kind, I think that has to be the way to go. I tell my grandson all the time, we have to remember two things. We have to remember to be gentle, and we have to remember to be kind. And I think those two things. And if you know, in your kindness and when you speak to people, I think if you're gentle in your kindness, I think that you can get your point across in a much better way, in a much nicer way. I've on a few occasions I've had we had a student once who in some ways tried to emulate me, but didn't do so well. And she she said to me once, you know, I can tell them, meaning the other students, I can tell them what they should or shouldn't do, and they take offense at me. You can tell them the same thing and they don't take offense at you. In fact, they say thank you to you. How come you can say anything and get away with it, but I try and do the same thing and nobody likes it? And I think that, you know, I think we forget when we're, especially if we're teaching or especially if we're trying to communicate with each other, I think to sort of lace our kindness with gentleness. And I think that it's true. I do get away with saying the harshest things to people sometimes because those harsh things are sometimes needed. But I'll say those tough. It's called tough love, isn't it? There's a love for you. Tough love is a really important thing. But I think that when you're applying tough love, I think if you apply it with gentleness and kindness, you can get away with it and people tend to listen to you more. So, yeah. Chris.
All right. Karen says, I just wanted to share a story. Now, this was not today, but last Friday. I was standing on the train platform and I looked down on the platform and printed in chalk was I heart you. I took a picture of it and see it as a message for me, maybe as an early Valentine's message.
I like it. I'd take it, Karen. Absolutely. Lucky you.
That also reminds me, somebody sent me a Facebook Instant Messenger within the last couple of days, and they said their sister-in-law was having a problem with ants. And the sister-in-law said to her father, who has passed, you know, basically, Dad, I'm having this problem. Can you help me? And as she said that, all of a sudden, the ant trail formed a heart.
Oh,
That was something. They had a video
yeah.
of it.
I was going to say, did you have photos? That sounds really, really nice. That sounds fabulous. Yeah, but let me just, if you are having an issue with ants, let me give you a little tip, which I learned when I was on the Greek islands a few years ago. Ants hate vinegar. So if you get a sponge and you soak it in vinegar, you don't have to have it totally soaked. Squeeze it out, wipe across your work surfaces in your kitchen, wipe it inside the counters. It lasts for several days. Believe it or not, you do not smell vinegar in your kitchen, but those ants, boy, oh boy, they hate it. Keeps them away, keeps them at bay. Keep going, Chris.
Chris says, I started to buy myself carnations to have around the apartment
Oh, nice.
because they last for a long time. They smell wonderful and are so great for my mental health because they make me smile.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We'd love to know what, if anything, any of the rest of you do for yourself to give love to yourselves. We want to know that. And I think that's a suitable thing to ask you all on Valentine's Day. What did you give to yourself on Valentine's Day? I gave myself liver pate on a crisp bread for my lunch today. I love liver. I love it. Of course, I make it myself, so I know everybody's out there turning the nose up. Liver, she eats liver, really? But, it's very good. Iron, gets a lot of iron into you. It's good. You got it, Chris. Are you turning your nose up at my liver?
I would turn my nose up at your liver if I was there, yes.
But absolutely.
Aislinn says, in a previous session, you spoke to my dad and grandmother, and they and you rightfully lectured me about my health. I have applied everything you said to do, and I am feeling so much better. So thank you.
Oh gosh, you're very welcome. Care to share what I told you to do? Or maybe it's too personal, but I'm so glad, darling, you're feeling better and you're doing a good job. Did we give you a hard time? Did we give you tough love?
All right. Karen says, not sure if this is indulgent of me, but I did buy myself a Valentine's card for myself from mom and dad. It's a Valentine's card for daughter.
And could anybody explain what is wrong with being self-indulgent? Go for it. I think it's a fantastic idea. You know that when your mum and dad were here, I know that they would have done the same thing for you. So why not? Be indulgent, be self-indulgent. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, it's perfectly fine.
Flory says, Rosemary, you look glamorous tonight. That particular shade of red suits you very well.
Wow. Well, thank you, Flory. Yeah, well, good. Well, thank you. He actually was instructed by Chris. Earlier on, she called me. She said, are you okay to do it tonight? And I said yes. And she said, and you do know that it's Valentine's Day? I said, yes, I do. And she said, so you do know that means that red would be nice to wear. Okay then. Well, here I am, taking my instructions to heart.
The day that I could instruct Rosemary Altea. That's the day.
Red. Doing as I'm told. I'm wearing red.
Oh. Rhonda says, thank you, Rosemary. You echoed my thoughts. I appreciate you and Gray Eagle.
Good. Well, we appreciate you too. What would we do without you all? Chris
Karen
would be
says,
talking about ourselves, wouldn't we?
It's so much more fun when there's interaction. And I love the questions because people ask questions I want to know the answers to. So this is great. Let's see. Karen says it's great to see a lot more people getting on board with angels and training. This is so good to see more people wanting to go out and do angel actions.
I think so too. I think we all should go out and do angel actions. I've been doing action all day today, which I can't talk about, but I'll be able to talk about it at the weekend. Oh well, we're not here on Saturday, are we?
No.
Maybe do something on Friday night, Chris.
You have visitors coming.
I know, but we can still do something maybe.
Yes, I'm sure we can make that happen.
That would be really fun, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, we don't, for the people who would definitely miss us on Saturday, that might be nice.
Yeah. It won't be a story time on Friday, but anyway, keep going. Right.
Lots of love coming your way from Nova Scotia from Jillian. Fiona says, oh, thank you for reading out my message. You're welcome, Fiona.
Wait a minute. Where is Nova Scotia?
Uh,
That's Canada,
it
north up.
keep going north of Maine and hang a little right.
Yeah, it's close. Is it in Canada or close to Canada?
It's in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. So north. I bet it's freezing there. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're sitting by a nice warm fire, wearing a nice Fair Isle sweater, uh, just keeping yourselves warm, and probably with a nice brandy to warm you on the inside. Chris.
Annika says, I enjoy all of your stories. One that made a big impression was about the two brothers who were both called to heaven within a few years of each other and could not be without each other.
Okay. You got to remind me of that. Oh my gosh. Which story was it? Because there are so many of them, aren't there, Chris? There are so many of them.
Yeah, I feel like that's one you told maybe in the last 2 to 3 months. Maybe it was a short little quip amongst others.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. Maggie's saying, is there any message from my daughter, mom, or dad for me today?
Wow, boy, oh boy, you set something off. I've got hearts, big, bold red hearts flashing all over the place here. So I'm there for you from your family. So how nice is that? Wow, they got to stop it. It's like fireworks going off in this house.
Helen says, I've been single for over 16 years. Any idea when I might meet someone special?
Well, Helen, I've been single a lot longer than that. And I know how important it is for us to find a good partner or someone we can share things with. I've always regretted not having a dance partner because I love dancing and I love ballroom dancing, and I love the quick step is my favorite. But here's the deal. You've got to get out there. You've got to put yourself out there, my lovely. Do it gently, do it carefully, do it safely. But you've got to get off your butt. Go and don't wait. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door. So as soon as you start to actively put yourself out there, I mean, look, you don't have to go online. You can join a church, you can join a choir, you can join a theatre, you can join groups online, walking clubs, you name it. We're not necessarily talking of romance, but if you put yourself out there and you mix with people of like mind to you, the chances of you finding someone special are far greater than doing nothing at all. So darling, you've got to put yourself out there. And if you're sitting there thinking, but I do and I have, obviously not enough. So get yourself going, get yourself out there, get yourself motivated.
Helen says, my husband was murdered when I was 21. I miss him terribly. I'm 41 now and still alone.
Helen, that's so sad, and it must be so hard for you to put yourself out there, as I've said, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. And I'm sure that there is somewhere in your subconscious this thought that well, what if I lose the next one, or what if I put myself out there and I find the love of my life and then then I lose them. And so I do understand why it's difficult for you, and I do understand that there are all of these fears, many of them perhaps subconscious, which are preventing you from going out there. But you're 41 years old, sweetheart. You're very young still, and I'm so sad and so sorry for what happened to you. But you cannot allow yourself to freeze into inaction, and I think that's what you have done. again, probably on a subconscious level, you're frozen in, you've frozen into inaction because of the fears that you have, the what ifs and so on. But I'll say it again to you. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door. That's not how it works. You've got to put yourself out there, and you can do it. You can do it. And I think I'm going to put you down on my healing, on the healing list, Chris. If you could put Helen down on the healing list, that would be great, because I think, my darling, you need a good, healthy dose of courage, and we can help you with that.
Okay. Lorraine says, is there a chance that we will be reunited in heaven with people we loved in our teen years? First love, that we loved, but we went our separate ways, not happily.
Well, I hope so, because I should be looking for my John, and I won't interfere with his wife or his kids or anything like that. It's not that kind of love anymore, but he was very special to me, and the idea of just being able to hold him and give him a hug and, be joyful for the wonderful life that he has had with his wife and his children, because I know that he was happily married. So, wouldn't that be nice? I spoke to him years and years after. It was a night I was with my friend Kay and her three girls and another friend, and we were telling stories, and I was telling Kay's girls used to love to listen to, tell us a story, and we were drinking a little bit, not by any means a lot, but we're drinking a little bit and we're telling stories. And then one of the girls said, I wonder where he is. I wonder what he's doing now. And too long a story to tell here. I know it's Valentine's Day, but too long a story to tell here. But unbeknownst to me, the girls, we found his number. They found his number and they called, and I spoke to his son, and then I spoke to him. A voice from the past, and we had a wonderful conversation, a wonderful conversation, and it was just lovely just to connect with him. So hey, he better be around there. I don't know whether he's already gone or not. I know I should know these things, shouldn't I? But I don't. And I'm not looking, and I don't want to know, but when my time comes, it would be nice to see him again, and I think he would find the same with me. So there you go. Moving on, Chris. I just told a romantic story for a Valentine's Day.
All right. Gail says, it's so great to share Valentine's night with you. I asked you a few months ago about my next house. You said that I would move and then I would get the one for me. I did move. I love the house, but it needs a lot of repairs.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little concerned about the contractors and workers I have to hire. Do you see anything that could guide me toward the right person or persons?
Well, you've got to be on top of them. Don't believe what they tell you. Make sure you've got a contract. Make sure that they give you a price that is in the contract and you stick to it, and you make sure that they stick to it. And keep on your toes with this. I've had a lot of work done in many of the houses that I've owned over the years, and I well, I remember my house in Vermont. I really had to be on top of things because I'd learned, don't trust, not that all workers are cheats and liars, and those who do building work and contract work and carpentry and so on, the honest ones will be the first to tell you, yeah, we know what happens. But I got the nickname of Hawkeye when they were doing work on my house, because every little thing I spotted, I saw. But I drew my own plans. I made a map of everything. that I handed out to everybody. The electrician got the one which said, I want all of the electrical to go here, here, and here. And I drew maps and so on. And I left for a week to go somewhere. I came back, and I don't know what they thought, but there was a new wall, all nice plaster in my bedroom, and the electrical contractor had put an outlet like 2 inches from the ceiling at the top. Who in their right mind would do such a thing? So I made them strip it down and do it again, and I didn't pay for the. Just you've got to be tough. You've got to be watching everything that they do. You really have. Okay, keep going, Chris.
All right, Eric's on, and as you and I were talking, it's 4 degrees Fahrenheit here in Vermont. He's saying, I just picked the first daffodils.
Oh, nice. Oh, lovely, lovely. Where is Eric? I'm just California, right? California.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice, very, very nice, Eric. It's a little early, but they'll be peaking out, I know, in England fairly soon. So, yeah, nice. It was quite warm here today. It was chilly indoors and a little damp, but I was walking outside a little bit today, and I actually took my sweatshirt off, and the sun was coming down. Just so nice. It was probably about, I'm going to say 74, 75 degrees. Really nice. Sorry for all of you out there who's still dealing with the snow and the ice and the rain and all that stuff. Very nice here in Florida right now.
That's all right. When we are getting 74 degrees, you'll have 105.
Oh no.
So
No.
It'll even out.
No, I'm right by, I'm on the Gulf Coast, Chris. I'm right by the ocean. We get ocean breezes all the time. So, all that myth about you can't breathe. Yes, if you go to Orlando, if you go in the inner city areas, it's got to be tough, but I'm not there. Okay.
All right. There's a few people, once you mentioned your liver pate, they're saying it sounds divine. They'd like the recipe, etc.
Well, you can do one of two things. You can either buy my cookbook, which is called, what is it called?
Rosemary's Kitchen, I think.
It's called Rosemary's Kitchen. And you can buy it on Lulu, or you can email us. If you email Chris, she'll tell you where to get it. The email for us is rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. I forgot what it was for a minute there. Or chris@rosemaryaltea.com. Or if you email Chris, I'll just send you the rest. If you don't want the rest of the book and you don't want the rest of my recipes, I'll absolutely send you the recipe for my liver pate, because it is in the book, so it's not a big secret, and it is really delicious. Chicken livers and I don't know what else. Trying to think. A little port, or you can either put in brandy, port, or sherry, whatever you want to have. A little of that. Some cream at the end just to make it nice and smooth, but it's a very, very smooth liver pate, because I don't like the chunky kind, but it really is delicious. And what I do is I make a batch up, and then I put it in little pots and put it in the freezer, and it lasts for ages. I just fetched out my last little pot a couple of days ago, so here I am eating liver pate. I'll have to make some more this week. Maybe we can make it. Yes, why don't we do it one Sunday morning, Chris? We can have the cooking show and I'll show you all how to make liver pate. So keep watching, and we'll tell you when we do that. Yes.
Annika says, my work as a massage therapist with my patients in a hospital is sort of an angel action too.
It is.
People call me an angel sometimes.
Well, Karen is also a massage therapist, so wherever you are in the world, Karen is in Canada, you should get together with that, because Karen does phenomenal. She's a phenomenal masseuse. She really is. Okay, keep going.
All right. Then we have Christina, saying, I have been in a funk lately. I'm
Oh,
going to get your book, You Own the Power, and I'm excited about that. I need some inspiration.
don't be in a funk. Life is too short for funks. You've got to smile. You've got to be happy. You've got to wake up every morning and say, well, I woke up this morning. That's got to be good, right? Here I am. What am I going to do with the rest of my day? And you never know, is this going to be? I do this exercise with my students. Uh, if today were the last day of your life and you knew that it was the last day of your life, what would you do? What are the things that you would do? Who are the people that you would speak to? Who are the people that you might call or connect with? If today were the last day of your life, what would you do? And I have to tell you that one of my students, wonderful girl, wonderful, wonderful girl, when we did this exercise, she went home later on that day and immediately took everything out of her underwear drawer and sorted things and threw things out because she couldn't bear the idea of, if this were the last day of her life, somebody else having to come in there and see what she got in her underwear drawer. She couldn't bear the thought of people seeing the chaos that she had in her knicker drawer, as we would say in England. Personally, what would I do? Well, I would be hot foot on a plane, or I would, one way or another, I would connect with my daughter and with my grandson. That's what I would do. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Eric says, I quit the awful job Sunday morning.
Oh, good.
Official notification.
Yay.
They
Good.
asked me back today. Not going. Applying already at better places.
Oh, that's so much fun when they ask you back. You see, you're obviously well loved and you're obviously appreciated, but not soon enough. Good for you, my lovely. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Rosemary radiates love from these live chats. That's why I come back over and over.
Who is that from?
That's from Cheryl.
Yay. Well, you know what? The nice thing is, the reason I can radiate love, which I know that I do because I feel it, the reason I radiate that love is because I feel it coming right back at me. I mean, all of you, you listen, you send love, you send lovely messages, you have great questions. So how can I not radiate that love? And especially not in my red love shirt on Valentine's Day.
All right. Then we have Annika, who's done her research. And I think they're talking about the story of the two boys who died within a soon time after each other. So the story was called Lightning Never Strikes Twice.
Oh, I know that story.
The one died playing lacrosse on the field, the other
Yeah.
a few years later playing
Yeah.
frisbee on the field.
On the same day. On exactly the same day. I think it was 2 years apart, in very similar circumstances. And what a sad story that was. I remember having the parents of those boys, and they had another son, and as you can imagine, they were very fearful for him, but luckily he's been fine. But yes, they were together, those brothers, absolutely 1000% together. Yeah, I remember.
All right.
Yeah.
Amy is saying, do you have any message for me from my loved ones?
I don't, Amy, and it's off the cuff, so we don't, well, I won't say we don't give messages, but because we have been doing a little bit of that, but I know that they are there with you, my sweetheart. So, when you think of them, just think of them close by you. Chris, I don't know if you can see, but the camera thing keeps
It's
going
okay on our end.
and dark. It keeps going light and dark, and obviously this little machine that I'm using is about to go kaput at some point. So
sounds like we both need to go and get a new something.
and I know. Anyway,
Kitty says, She spent her time watching An Affair to Remember with Carrie.
Oh yes, is that the one where they decide to meet? What is it? That tower in New York. They decide to meet, and she's on her way to meet him, and he's waiting for her, and she has an accident. Is that the one? Is that I love that movie. Anyway.
All right. Gail says, how I loved your story about the contractors. It encouraged me because I have printed pictures and drawings of what I want and taped them to the walls. Thank you so much. And I love your red shirt. The collar is popping, as some young people would say.
Thank you. Yeah, and you keep an eye on those contractors. Don't give them an inch. Just make sure that they know that you're watching. That's the big thing. Because if they know you're watching, they do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, any slight trouble, get them out. Don't pay them. Get rid of them. Just know you're not doing it properly. Out. You'll find the right people doing that. You will. Okay.
All right. Fiona's asking if my daughter will find love soon.
Oh, Fiona. Again, it really depends. It depends on her. It depends on what she's doing about it. It depends on a lot of things. So it would be so easy for me to say, oh yes, of course, don't worry, she'll find love soon. And what does soon mean anyway? Soon can mean anywhere up to 5 years, in fact. It depends. And as I've already said to somebody, you've got to put yourself out there and put yourself out into the universe and put your ideas and your thoughts and your hopes and wishes out into the universe. We have this great, what is it called, Chris? The card that I have everybody make.
Ambition?
The ambitions board. And, she needs to make an ambitions board. And if you want to know what an ambitions board is or how to make one, I think it will probably tell you on the website. But if you make an ambitions board, I'm promising you, if you do it properly and you do as I've told you to do, you'll get your wish. You'll get your ambition. Okay.
All right. We got 2 more questions, I think, here, and then we'll be at about time.
Okay.
My dad used to be able to communicate with the spirit world, and he used to drink alcohol as he said it helped him to communicate. I personally saw him levitate items, etc. He was Indian. Have you ever felt having a drink helped you connect better? Just curious.
No. In fact, it's the one thing I probably would not do. Because why? Because I have a responsibility and I have to be sober when I'm doing what I'm doing. I do understand though, because when you have a drink, it can really relax you. It can make you feel really, really nice and easy and relaxed, and maybe it's easier that way to raise your level of consciousness. So I do get the idea behind it, but it not for me. It wouldn't work for me. Although I might come and have a drink later. Actually, probably not, but interesting. Okay, keep going, Chris. We've got one more question, I think.
Yeah, Cheryl says, I'm tending to appreciate life daily. After 2 of my doctors passed away, one was the burn doctor at the clinic and my regular family practice doctor. They were both wonderful guys.
Well, life, can change in a heartbeat. One day, 1 minute, you can be in one place, and the next minute you can be somewhere else. We should never take. We all know that as human beings. We do know how fragile we are as human beings, how fragile our physical body is. We know how fragile life is. We should make the most of it every single day. And that's what we're doing here on Off the Cuff. We're making the most of getting out there and putting our love out there and sharing it all with all of you. And that, I think is the end of Off the Cuff for tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Happy, happy, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I'd like to say thank you to you, Chris. I'd like to say thank you to everybody joining us. And of course, goes without saying, I want to say thank you to my spirit guide, Gregel, who is, as usual, there he is. So I thank him very much also. We shall see you again. Where are we? It's we'll see you on Thursday morning. We might pop in before, you never know. We're going to be arranging another cracking up show with my friends Kay and Kay, so we're going to be arranging that. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. I have to yet speak to them about that, we will not be back on Saturday morning for story time, but it is the week of love, so we might do something on Friday because my daughter and my grandson are flying in on Friday, and I know that my grandson would love to share, even if it's only a half an hour with you guys. I know he'd love to share that with you. So watch for us on Friday in the afternoon or late evening, whenever it is. We shall be around then. In the meantime, until I see you all again, once again, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. We love it. We love you. It's just the day of love. Look, red for love. Bye-bye, everybody.